Chelsea Football Club officially turned their sights on Nico Williams now that Michael Olise has embarrassed them. A lot of you were very upset with my reaction for when Chelsea did not conclude the Michael Olise deal. We need to talk about that because that rant, I'm not going to lie to you, was very epic. Furthermore, apparently Chelsea will be going after Jonathan David, and everybody started getting the statistics out and everyone's getting excited, and I'm going to tell you why you shouldn't. Realistically speaking, you should not be getting excited. He's not that good. And furthermore, Ian Matson's going to Aston Villa and Omari Kellerman is coming to Chelsea for £19 million. Who? Yes, we're going to talk about that. We're going to break the news down. There is a lot to talk about. I took yesterday off. The reason I took yesterday off was because after the Olise deal, I was fuming. I was absolutely getting steam out of my ears. I could not fathom to even talk about Chelsea. However, after 24 hours, after calming down, I have realized that I am too passionate when it comes to having instant reactions to make videos. As soon as the news comes down, I'm not calculated enough to be able to be calm, relaxed, and just think about things in a natural way. I just say stuff off my chest. And sometimes you're going to get that here, and some of you enjoy that. Some of you don't, but you know what? It is what it is. I still agree by 75% of everything I said in that video. Hit the like button if you made it this far. Subscribe to the channel as well. We're on the way to 35,000. 1,000 likes is what we're aiming for. And now let's get started with the video. I think to move on to the Nico Williams and Jonathan David news, we need to start with the Michael Olise news. Because the reality is Michael Olise was Chelsea's #1 target. Chelsea were obsessed, quote from Fabrizio Romano. Chelsea were favourites, quote by Fabrizio Romano. However, Fabrizio's reputation in this saga is taking a massive hit. And what happened now that 48 hours later we're getting interest? Well, number one, Chelsea couldn't agree personal terms. Chelsea were not willing to offer what Bayern Munich were willing to offer, and it's in the region of, it's been reported, to 200 to 220k a week. When you think about it from that standpoint, it kind of makes sense. Why did I convince myself that Chelsea, without Champions League football, without a new stadium, could offer wages of that magnitude? Because we did it in the past. We know the club's going in a different direction. The club are going in a more sustainable direction where we can fund ourselves, we can sell players and buy new players based off that, and more importantly, play realistic wages. And something I didn't think about straight off. Cole Palmer's on 70k. Enzo Fernandez is on 150k. Caicedo's on 120k. Gusto's on 45k. You bring in Michael Olise on 220, what's happening? Every single one of their agents. Excuse me, can we get a pay rise for my client, please? Can we get a pay rise for my client, please? That's going to open a new can of worms. People are going to come at me with the whole Correa's getting paid a lot. Sterling's getting paid a lot. Fofana's getting paid a lot. Yes, under the old regime, those contracts were handed out. I'm telling you now, in the next 18 months, they're going to try to shift all these players. Watch this space. Even Wesley Fofana if they can. The next thing that we need to realize is we don't have Champions League football, and that matters massively. Some of the ramifications that I was scared of and I chose to ignore like an idiot. If we miss UCL football, can we attract the best talent? Well, you know what happened? London isn't enough. We can't attract Michael Olise. And Michael Olise is a young talent that wanted to stay in London, and it still wasn't enough. The allure of Bayern Munich was massive. And they got their man, and we need to now take this one on the chin. Yes, we missed out on Benjamin Sesko, who was evidently our first choice over Victor Osimhen. Yes, we missed out on Michael Olise, who was our first choice on the right wing. And now we are in a predicament where the club don't want to get a right winger. They have officially announced Estavio. They said that the deal was done, and surprise, surprise, it's announced on a day when Chelsea fans are most fuming. Chelsea fans are absolutely got steam coming out of their ears. But the good news is the deal has been announced. He is our player. We need to be patient with him. We cannot expect him to come in and be the ready man from the outset. We need to give him a platform to perform, and we need to be realistic with how he's going to perform when he comes in. Same with Kendrick Price. However, that's enough for the past. Now let's look into the future and what the recent reports are. According to Di Marzio in Italy is coming out that Chelsea are going after Nico Williams. Nico Williams is having a very solid Euros at this moment in time. I am the first to admit, I always say, every time I watch Nico Williams, I'm not impressed. I don't see what everyone else sees. However, in this Euros, I watched him very particularly. You know, I was like, you know what? Today we are going to focus on Lamine Yamal, because I love watching that guy play. and I'm going to watch Nico Williams. I'm going to focus on his movement. I'm going to see what he does, and I'm going to see whether the hype's worth it. Well, you know what? I'm starting to see the talent level. I'm starting to see what people want. Hopefully, he will develop the finishing, because that will be the deciding factor. He could be as impactful as he wants outside of scoring and assisting. If he doesn't get that up to an average standard, people aren't going to respect him. And that's the reality of 2024 football. Like, if you're not getting double figures for goals and assists, people aren't going to give you the plaudits you want. You could be one of the best players in the world. They'll be like, yeah, but you should be doing more. You should be doing this. You should be doing that. And for me, I've been impressed in the Euros. However, I'm also being honest. I feel like the player wants to stay at Atletico Bilbao. And I don't think the Chelsea have the juice to make this deal happen. I am going to be very, very skeptical of any players that we are linked, purely based on the fact that Olise was 220k. So if Olise's on that, and we know on record that Williams' camp want 250k a week on him, why on earth are we expecting Chelsea to be paying that kind of money? We know they don't want to. Chelsea would rather pay a high transfer fee than pay high wage. Chelsea would rather pay 100 million on a player and give him 100k salary rather than give him 300k and pay 50. Like, because in the long term, they view it as a dampener to their construction of their squad. They view it as unsustainable. They view it as a hindrance to the actual squad. And because of that, I don't believe this Nico Williams deal will happen. I feel like he's going to stay, maybe in the future if we make the Champions League and all of a sudden we're good again. However, I feel like we have got enough options on the right wing, and this is a left wing signing, meaning I am not convinced that this is going to happen. We still have Sterling, we still have Mudryk, and we still have George. I don't see us going and getting another one unless one of the other three leaves. Personally. The final bit of news regarding Jonathan David is very interesting for me, because Jonathan David is a player that's been linked with everyone in Europe for the last 4 years. I think since Fabrizio Romano banged on Twitter, this player is being linked left, right, centre. Everyone. Left, right, centre, everyone. And he's not leaving nil. No one's willing to pay the money because nobody believes he's worth the piece. And this is how his goal and assist return, I saw this graphic and I thought it was interesting and I'll share it with you guys. 17, 19, 30, 30 in Ligue 1. Do you really believe this is a good player? Well, statistically, wonderful player. However, I've watched him play, and I've watched him on numerous occasions. Every time I watch him play, I'm left disappointed. I don't know what I see from him. I don't know what he offers. I don't understand the player. I watch his compilations, I'm not moved. I watch him play live, I'm not moved. Why on earth are we going to sign this kid? Personally, I've said it before, people aren't going to like it. Just go with Nicholas Jackson as the number 9. Go with Christopher Nkunku as his understudy, or the other way around. David Washington gets the Conference Leagues, develop him, and we don't need to spend for the sake of spending. These reports are coming from Ornstein that Chelsea have got a very good relationship with Lille. There have been talks with the representatives, and I really hope it doesn't move past the word talk. And what I found very interesting is Fabrizio's been absolutely slutting out, David, left, right, and centre. He's been literally pimping him out. Oh, guys, who wants to buy him? Who wants to buy him? And then, all of a sudden, it's Ornstein coming out with the news. Very interesting. I find that very interesting. Personally, in the comments below, let me know. Do you think Jonathan David is worth for Chelsea, or do you think David Washington should be given the opportunity at Chelsea? Man, I'm confusing players. So Chelsea and Aston Villa are doing something very interesting. So Chelsea have secured the signing of someone called Omari Kellerman. He's an 18-year-old. He plays in a 10 or 8 position. And what's interesting is he only joined them last year for 700k. Now they've made huge amounts of profit on him. And what I'm going to ask is, how? How has this value grown so much? Like, I don't understand. Is it attached to the fact that, oh, we'll buy Ian Maatsen for 37.5 million from you, and part of the deal, you buy this player for us? Maybe this is the deal. However, I don't like it, and I'm going to explain to you why. Number one, I think Villa are getting the better end of the deal. They're getting Ian Maatsen for 37 million, which I think is a brilliant player. However, it's good for him. I would have preferred to keep him at Chelsea, but it's not happening. Great pure profit. However, Omari Kelman is someone that I don't know nothing about. Never seen him play. I just know he plays in the 10 or the 8, just based on the reading I've done. He looks exciting. He looks talented. However, why are we doing this? Why are we throwing 19 million at a player that when in Cobham we most probably have great players. Like in Cobham we have got good young players developing. When we go for Ishtaba, when we go for Kendrick Piaz, when we go for a David Washington, you know, players that have some sort of hype around them. When we're going for Amisiliano now, I think that his name is, yeah, I get it because these are meant to be top prospects around the world. This kid I haven't heard of, and the fact that Villa are so easily letting him go, I don't understand. Like, I know they got PSR issues. I don't want to be that person that goes, oh, it's definitely linked with PSR, because I don't have the understanding to say that. And I think that's a huge accusation to throw. Like, to say, oh, this is purely based on PSR, because I don't think it's true. I think Chelsea love hoarding young talent. They just buy a bunch of young talent and say, you know what, one of them's going to bang, and then we're going to sell the others. And the reality is, at this moment in time, I really wish we treated the players we buy the same way we treat the players that we have already in the house. The players that we're developing do not get the same leeway or the treatment than the players that we spend the crazy money to bring in. Like, Carney Chukwuemeka was spent 19 million. Casadei was spent 14 million. Sometimes you look around it and you're like, are these players better than what we already were developing? Carney definitely is. Like, I look at Carney, I'm really convinced. I'm not too convinced with Cesar Casadei. I really am not. I think he's a good goal scoring midfielder in the future. I think he'll have a great career. I don't know whether it'll be at Chelsea, but Omari Kelman, I have no clue. Kellyman, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your name incorrectly as well. But it is what it is. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. It's going to be a busy week. The Euros are heating up. It is what it is. Peace out. I'm out. Have a lovely day.